Points. Yo, 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 what it do? How are you? Thank you for joining another episode of the Broad Points Podcast. I am your host, the broad that points, the broad with the points. It's me, Tyler, the lady. And to start off this podcast, we're gonna say happy 20th episode. You guys, we're living in our 20s again. We're living in the 20s and we get to share it, right? This is the only time that we both get to live in our 20s at the same time. I'm so grateful to be here. I feel rejuvenated. I feel rejoiced. I feel re-energized. I was able to connect, one with myself, but also with some good friends that I haven't seen in a little while. So it's always really great to catch up with people, especially if you're doing a little bit of an isolation thing. If you're trying to iron some things out, absolutely do that. When you're ready, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want in your life. And if that includes other people, don't be afraid to ask those people. Don't be afraid to invite people into your life, because that really is how our expansion starts to work, right? You know, we can do all of this work on ourselves, but once we get to share that with other people and we get to hear from other people, there's just such a powerful, energetic exchange that happens. And so hang out with your friends. Make some friends. You don't have any friends right now? Maybe you've isolated, maybe you've cut off a lot of ties. I've been there. I've done it. I've had no one. It's just been me and my lonely thoughts, and we've had to rebuild the bridge, but the bridges are always there to make. You are the architect of your life. You're the landscaper. You do all the jobs. All you have to do is just decide what you want in it, right? And I shared this on my personal Facebook the other day, but it was ask for what you want, because persistence is the vehicle that's going to drive you there. Real life example, recently my job has been wearing on me. I've been working for the job for a couple years, and I had been asking for an hour's change, and I really hadn't felt like I was heard. One, because it's, 2 years later, and two, because I had to continue to ask. They weren't just following up with me with like a yes or a no or a reason or anything. And so I was becoming very frustrated, and rather than just blowing up my whole life, which I've done before, right? When I'm fed up with something, I've just left it. I don't need this. There's something else out there. I expressed again, one final time, hey guys, I'm getting a little frustrated. I just want a response. I really want to progress in my life. I'm seeing a lot of opportunities in this time window where, if it's a 30-minute change. It was a 30-minute change. It really shouldn't have been that big of a deal to begin with. But, anyways, I continued to ask. My persistence over the last year and a half, 2 years, is what has now gotten my schedule changed. As of Monday, your girl starting a new schedule where I only work until 5 p.m. And Dolly Parton is so right when she is like 9 to 5. Dude, it's such a terrible way to make a living. It's so terrible. But if you can find a company that you feel passionate for, you're honestly going to be spending that amount of time working on anything you're passionate about, right? So really invest yourself in a company you want to be a part of, or a mission you want to be a part of, because I feel like that, finding that connectedness, it really allows us to play the game of life full out. And so with that, I'm just going to jump right in to the fundamental phrase for the week, you guys. We are up to the 20th fundamental phrase for the week. This is just so much fun. This week's is: life is a perfect adventure, a game that cannot be won or lost, only played. There's no winning or losing in life. There's no if you get all of the money in the world, if you build all of the things, if you leave the planet, there's no winning. There is no losing. I mean, some people might think if you die, that's maybe a loss, but it's really just the full experience of life. I mean, I think we all have to kind of recognize that a life is also death. It's all a part of the cycle. And so, really to forget the fear of losing, to forget the fear of winning, right? Because sometimes it's if I win, then I'm going to have to do this, and I'm going to have to change my whole life and my name and move, and I'm going to have to only have one name like Seal or Cher, or you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but you don't have to live in fear either. You don't have to live in fear. In a society, in a world where there's all of these crazy things going on, and everybody's telling you that you have to live in fear, I'm here to tell you that you don't if you don't want to. Because in life, you can't win or lose. There's no one objective for every person in life. Every person has their own path to go down. And that truly is the beauty of life. I mean, I like to just go on walks and just marvel at how different everything and everyone is. Every form of life, whether it's a plant or a dog or a person, right? We all contribute to the ecosystem. We all are so powerful and beautiful in our own ways. And I'm here to tell you that you can accept that. It's okay to accept that. It's okay to recognize the beauty in yourself, the beauty in others, and not have to be fearful of what others think. Right? That is something that plants have on us, right? They don't care what people think about them. They're going to grow. They're going to grow and grow and grow, and they don't care, right? Or like dogs, right? Dogs don't care. They could tell when you're mad at them. Oh my God, I hate being mad at dogs because you could just see their poor little dog face. I love dogs so much. They just have such a special place in my heart. I always grew up with pit bulls. They're the sweetest dogs on the planet if you just don't make them mean. Dogs are not mean, people are mean. I so believe that. And fear of dogs, right? You don't have to live in fear of a dog if the dog is made and raised by a person with love and compassion. The same way that we should be raising our children, right? The imaginary one that I don't have. We talked about this last time. I'm a child. But this fundamental phrase, I love it so much. And it was actually a really big pivotal phrase for me when I started to do stand-up. And I had done stand-up before I had done coaching. So this phrase kind of came in play as I reintegrated back into the society of it and getting into, doing Gone Viral and all of that. I had to forget about perfection, right? Because life itself is already perfect. Everything that I'm going through, I need to go through it so that I can learn something. I need to learn so that I can grow. That's part of survival. That's part of evolution, that we just have to do that. If we don't, if we burn our hand and we don't learn that burning our hand sucks, if we throw ourselves into the fire pit and burn our whole body and die, that is just the end of a species. we're not trying to wipe out humanity, right? We want to like have some thought. We want to be practical, you know? The elephant is one of my most favorite animals because of their memory, right? The elephant can encounter something on a path that, you know, a predator of some sort that harms them or a family member, right? And then they know to never go down that path again. Never, right? Never would they go down that path. And I think it's so funny because I love that elephant mindset. I admit I have not always had that elephant mindset, right? I've gone back to things. I'm an in-outer on some, you know, relationships, some foods, some vices, you know, whatever we want to call it. I've dabbled in some things. I recognize now the elephants. They've got some knowledge, you guys. They've been around for so long. Learn. Learn from your lessons. Remember your lessons. And that's something that I feel like can even be a struggle, right? Is to retain stuff. How do we retain things? And I had done this coaching program once where the woman was like, whatever you learn, create it. Because she knew I was a creator. She's like, whatever your medium is, whatever it's going to be, if you're going to write comedy, if you're going to paint a picture, if you're going to sculpt a sculpture, do it with the lesson. And I don't know why school just couldn't be that cool, right? Like if you read a book and you're like, this book makes perfect sense in a sculpture. Oh, not that I didn't also like writing, but I do think it would have been much more fun to paint a picture or sculpt a sculpture instead of having to write the book report. That's just me, personal preference. But life is already perfect, right? The school systems maybe are not perfect, but it's a structure that's established in society, and it's the game that we have to play right now, unless you're homeschooled, which I was not. But we have to apply ourselves. We have to choose to play the game. And in the moments when I wasn't asking questions for clarity, or in the moments when I was just absolutely abstaining from the game, right? I don't want to do that. I don't want to play. I don't want to look stupid. That was what it always was. I'm not going to lie to you. This is the realest we get right here. Anytime that I was like, oh no, I'm not going to do that game, or oh no, I don't want to do that thing. It's like, hi, I don't want to look like an idiot. Because I didn't. And I think it was to my detriment that I wanted to be cool. Right? For a long period of my life, I wanted to be cool. And how is cool defined, right? Well, if you define it for yourself, it could be anything. It could be anything, right? So when you let others define it for you, it could be anything. So constantly trying to shapeshift into this thing, it's like, that's not playing the game. Right? That's like going wherever the wind blows you and like doing things that people want you to do or think that you should do. Instead of relying on yourself. Right? That level of radical self-reliance where you know what you want. What do you want? Where do you want to go? How do you want to play this game? Sure, we have to deal with this universe and this world's current rules, but how do you want to play with them? Right? Everybody here is playing with the world's rules. It's crazy out here. You've got to just figure it out for yourself, one step at a time. But to remove that fear, you guys, it just allows you to fully dive in. Right? Because when I started doing the comedy thing again and going back, it was like, oh, I don't have to be worried about if people laugh. I don't have to be worried about people being silent. This podcast, right? It's all a perfect adventure. You can't win or lose a podcast, right? You can't. Like, I'm sorry, you just can't. You can't. Same thing for life. It's just what it is. And so choose how you want to play the game. For me personally, I choose to play it full out fun mode. I want to have fun. I want to connect with people. I want people to be able to have fun as well. Like, I'm leading by example. And fun is my example. Fun is my legacy. Straight up. Like, if more people could have fun, if more people could not take life so seriously, if more people could connect with themselves, right? That's the dream. That is. And everybody's idea of fun is different, right? I'm not saying that everybody has to have my idea of fun. Because that would be nuts. That's absolutely nuts to try and impose your beliefs, your expectations, your hopes, your dreams, your whatever onto anybody else that's not you. Right? All we can control is ourselves. All we can do is manifest our own destiny, apply ourselves to our lives. And so, what's another fun way to apply yourself to a life? What? Are we going to get a tool right here? I think we are. It's been a while, I feel like. I can't remember the last tool that I gave you, but here is a new one. You want to play the game. Maybe you need an inspirational playlist, right? And I love playlists. I'm going to tell you this trick it's a trick for any mood that you want to be in. Make a playlist. I love making playlists so much that, like, my playlist for my inspirational one is titled You've Got This. Within it it's honestly a crazy range of genre. I love music so much. I love the range of music. I love the variety of music. I love the messages that are within music. And there is just something about music that permeates different parts of your brain. It connects in different ways that maybe listening to a podcast, maybe talking to a person, they just don't hit the same way. That music can really get in there. And so my playlist, I honestly will just search words is how I'll do it. If you have songs that you're like, this is an inspirational song, these are inspirational lyrics, absolutely build your playlist however you want to make it, but have it geared towards how you want to feel. Right? An emotional playlist. How do you want to feel? What's the goal of this playlist? And a funny thing is, I always make a playlist too for any time I'm traveling. They're the most absurd of my playlists, I will say for sure. When we went to Big Sur for my birthday, I was looking for anything associated with Big Sur, right? And it was my birthday. So there was like anything with big, anything with Sur, anything with like cake, ocean, beach, all sorts of stuff. And it was just this crazy collection of genres, and all the stuff that was like titled Big Sur was really like melodic, tonal kind of stuff. And then it campfire-y, acoustic, strumming of guitars and singing like that, what have you. And then there would just be like Big Sean, Big Papa, Ocean Avenue, like just random genre things thrown in there. But it was good that they were, because those were the hitters, right? I love me some cake. We're going the distance, or you're never there. Playlists, you guys. How many people have Spotify, Apple Music? What do you have? What are you streaming? YouTube. You have something. There's access to something. Make a playlist, right? If you still are burning CDs or making cassette tapes, oh my God. You're my favorite person right now in the whole world. That was a phase. Do you guys remember making mixtapes? I made so many mixtapes just all the time, and would just like give them out. And I had so many in my car, and you shuffle through. You get the 6-disc changer in your car. Wow, that's so dated. With that, you guys, happy 20th episode. In addition to choosing to have fun, you also have the choice to like, rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast here. You can follow me on social media at Broadpoints or at Tyler the Lady. And if you want to email me, well, golly, you can. broadpointspodcast@gmail.com. And eventually, you guys, I just set up a Patreon. I am going to have more information for you in these next upcoming episodes about my Patreon, but it is going to be an opportunity for us to be able to connect, you to be able to share with me to be able to share with you some stuff that I'm not able to on this podcast, right? I'm excited to share, some artwork there, some poetry. Keep an eye out for some of my favorite recipes. Woo! Patreon. It has all the things. You can do all the things. It will be at Tyler the Lady on there as well. But like I said, more information to come. As always, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, concerns. And one more time, with that fundamental phrase for the week: life is a perfect adventure, a game that cannot be won or lost, only played.